the stage.
Thank you, Ms. Chairperson, distinguished judges, and a question. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. In a certain department store on February 14, 2016, there were many Valentine's Day shoppers, but most of them didn't think about the people working behind the scenes. One of those workers, a young man, was being reprimanded by his supervisor, who angrily said, "Understand the situation." I was sure that it wasn't sweet chocolate, but a bitter lecture that she got. And then, that night, in a bad mood, he thought to himself, "Okay, I didn't understand the situation, but there was no need for that scolding. Wait, could it really be so? Maybe." At that moment, she found being reprimanded made him notice that he was green and didn't fully realize how important it was to understand situations. Now he is sure that being reprimanded helped him develop. And today, he is here to say, let's think about being reprimanded positively. Unfortunately, young Japanese people these days tend to regard being reprimanded as a negative thing. In 2005, the Job Cafe Support Center surveyed the attitudes of 450 young Japanese workers. One question asked, "Do you think it is important to accept lectures when you are reprimanded?" But surprisingly, only 34.2% of them replied yes. In other words, about 70% of young Japanese workers were negative about being reprimanded. Such attitudes influence society. When young Japanese people are reprimanded by supervisors, they ignore or silently object to the reprimand. Some shock their corporations by attempting suicide. In order to realize the status quo, I'd like you to imagine the situation. You have 10 employees, and when you reprimand them as a form of advice, 7 out of 10 don't respond well. In this way, the present circumstance is serious. So why has being reprimanded become negative for young Japanese people these days? The answer is they lack the attitude to learn something from being reprimanded. In the past, many teachers inflicted physical punishment on students, and sometimes neighbors reprimanded their neighbors' children. People regarded such intense reprimands as strong advice and learned from them. However, over time, such instruction has decreased, and people lost the attitude to learn from being reprimanded. These days, when they are reprimanded, young Japanese people regard lectures as unfamiliar punishment. And this is why they are negative about being reprimanded. Then, what should we do to have a more positive attitude toward being reprimanded? Today, I want to propose attempting various kinds of short-term temporary work. These days, there are a lot of websites about part-time jobs, So if you search the internet for short-term temporary job, you can find a variety of fields such as setting up a bank venue, data entry, working at the front desk, handing out flyers on the street, proctoring an exam, and so on. I'd like you to try them. Wait, why do you keep telling us short-term temporary work, short-term temporary work? What's that got to do with being reprimanded? Some of you might think so. I have been waiting for this moment. Let me explain how short-term temporary work helps you to be positive about being reprimanded and improves today's problem. When you start a new part-time job, of course, you aren't used to dealing with problems there. In some situations, you will be reprimanded by your supervisor. However, at that moment, you will notice how unskilled you are and that you should learn something from the lecture to improve your performance. Then you will come to know that being reprimanded is a kind of advice, and to think it is a good thing. Especially there are many new and unfamiliar things in short-term temporary work. So it is sure that people can acquire your attitudes to learn something from reprimands. In other words, they can be positive. As I said in the first part, I fully realized the proverb, good medicine tastes bitter, from my short-term temporary work on Valentine's Day. However, many people haven't tasted it. What a waste! Fortunately, you listen to my speech and understand the importance of being positive about reprimands. Let's try various kinds of jobs. Let's be positive about reprimands. The next is your turn. Thank you.
We will have question and answer session for 4 minutes. Mr. Kusama, please.
Okay, thank you, Takeshita-san. So, February the 14th, on the Valentine's Day, did anyone give you chocolate on that day?
Yes.
Really? Yeah? But your boss gave you bitter, what, chocolate? And you were scolded on that day, yeah? So what was, how do you say, your KY?
Sorry.
KY, cookie over there. What was the situation? How was it like?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you couldn't read the situation. How was it like you were involved? That situation, kind of situation you were involved in that on that day. Why were you scolded in the first place?
Why my supervisors called me? And the situation. So I have no task to do, but other workers have many things to do. So I was waiting for the next task like this.
Okay, that was good. Yeah, I think that was good.
At the moment, my supervisors reprimanded me.
Yeah, okay. I just recall that I did the same a long time ago when I had a part-time job at some restaurant. I was fired after that. Really? Yeah, I think that was good for you. I'd say. No, more seriously. So you really want to be scolded, represented now?
Now?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
You want to be scolded more?
Yes, of course. So because I have many things to improve my English skill or speech and presentation skill.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone in this hall reprimand me after this contest, so I will be positive.
Really? So you'll be happy?
Yes.
Happier if you're scolded?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I tell you, I bet that you have a lot more chances to be scolded once you get into the real world after finishing. University, you have your bosses above, and your colleagues around, and your seniors around. I tell you, I'm sure that you'll be scolded more, so don't worry about that.
Thank you.
Okay? That's my bad. Okay, time is what, 1 minute more. Well, how do you make difference between advice and power harassment? Because, you know, power harassment, your bosses may be so frustrated emotionally, and that they would shout at you, you know. So how can you tell if that's kind advice or just simple power harassment?
So you want to say, so what is the difference between
How
power
can you
and
tell? Yeah, oh, this is
good-
an advice.
good
This is
advice? So I think so. Power her is of course reprimands, but maybe she or he talks with a so strong intonation. So and the second reason is the person who is reprimanded by his or her is negative about being reprimanded. So what we should do is two things. Firstly, so if you reprimand your employee, so please please take your reprimands with a little soft tone. And so if you are reprimanded, so please learn from your supervisor. So you may learn a lot from reprimands. Yes.
So if you clarify that, if you are sure that, oh really, this is really out of his just simple frustration, do you thank him for that? Or just you fight back, or what would you do?
Sorry.
If it were real power harassment, if you know that, how would you respond to that? Do you say, well, thank you very much for power harassment, or just how would you respond to that kind of situation?
So I think so. Power her also so maybe he or she wants to make some advice to me. So if he or she is not interested in me, so he or she will not reprimand me. So yes, I will be positive about power harassment.
Okay, they call it power harassment and just fight back. Do it. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.